We're on lesson 5 of chapter 3, which is squares and square roots. We're going to do positive and negative square roots, then we'll use a surface area application, and then we'll find square root expressions. First, finding positive and negative square roots. So it asks us to find the two square roots of each number. What a square root asks us, what number multiplied times itself equals 81? It kind of gets you going backwards from squaring something. So what number squared would be 81? So a lot of times we just think about this. 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times 7 is 49, nope. 8 times 8 is 64, but 9 times 9 is 81. So that would be our answer. 9 times 9 is 81, so we'd have 9. But also it says find two square roots, and what I mean by that is we need to find a positive and a negative square root. So think about it this way. What if you have negative 9 times negative 9? A negative and a negative would make a positive 81. Negative 9 must be a square root as well of 81. So your two square roots would be positive 9 and negative 9. Now 1. For the number 1 you got to think a little bit because 1 times 1 is 1. And then, so then 1 would be a square root of 1. And then negative 1 times negative 1 would also equal 1 because the two negatives make a positive. So for here you'd have 1 and negative 1. Here we have positive 144. I know that 12 times 12 is 144. So there's positive 12 as my square root. And then negative 12 times negative 12 will also make a positive 12. So my two answers here would be 12 and negative 12. Now we need a surface area application here. The square computer icon here contains 676 pixels. So how many pixels tall is the icon? Well, I know that the area of a square is the length times the width. But I know for a square, for example, the length, if the length is 8, the side is also going to be 8 over here as well, because the sides are the same length. So we could use this as a square root problem. What number times itself is going to give us an area of 676 pixels? What number length times the width, which is the same, will give us that answer? Well, we can try doing the square root of 676. And there's a function on your calculator to do that. So let's do that. 676, square root of that would be 26. 26 times 26 would equal 676. So it's 26 pixels tall, it's 26 pixels wide. So we'll say 26 pixels tall. Now it asks us to simplify expressions. So as far as order operations goes, we need to treat square roots the same way we treat exponents. That these go behind parentheses but in front of multiplication and division. So in this case we have 3 times the square root of 25 plus 4. Whenever you have a number outside like that, it's going to be multiplying times the square root. So we need to find the square root first. So the square root of 25 would be 5. And then we're going to do 3 times that. And then we're going to be adding 4 to that. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then we're going to be adding 4 to that. So 15 plus 4 would be 19, and that would be our answer. Here we have 16 divided by 4 inside the square root. So there's actually two different ways you could do this. You could find the square root of 16 and the square root of 4 and then do the dividing, or you could divide first and then solve it. Let's do the square root of each and then do our dividing. So the square root of 16 would be 4. The square root of 4, 2 times 2 equals 4, so we'd have 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So we have 2 plus 1/2 here. 2 plus 1/2 would be 2.5 for our answer. And there we have it, 2.5. So what I did is, remember, we took the square root of 16, made that 4. Took the square root of 4, made that 2. Did 4 divided by 2, which gave us 2. Then we added that 1/2 at the end. That gave us 2.5.